Still hasn't quite sunk in, man. It is raw. It hurts. Still trying to wrap my mind around it. The wild series. A lot of fun. A lot of back and forths. Competitive. And I really thought they were going to pull it out yesterday, man. I really thought the Miami Heat were going to win that. The moments from Max Strus hitting that three-pointer, not the one that was overturned, to getting the stop, to Jimmy Butler going down the court, all in these moments where I thought they're about to go to the finals. They're about to go to the finals, and then just over like that. As Spo said last night, in a thud. Just a finality that just comes crashing to you just like that. And it hurts. It hurts. It hurts as a Heat fan. It hurts to see that in the building. It hurts to see the Celtics run around and celebrate. I hate that franchise. And although I will say, I thought this was a very respectful series. I thought Spo made a great point about this after the game, just how admirable it was. Both of these teams were battling through injuries. And this wasn't a lot like the 2012, 2013, 2011 rivalry, because there was actual disdain. Then you had Ray Allen flipping teams. Like there was legitimate heat between Miami and Boston. And this one just didn't feel like that. And I was surprised because I remember mentioning this doing the pre-games. I was like, I wonder what it's going to be like, because it feels very respectable going in. Will it be like that? And for as physical as this series was, for as competitive as this series was, it did really remain very respectful throughout the entire thing. And I thought that you saw that afterwards between Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum. We know that Tatum and Bam Adebayo are very, very close as well. So it's tough, man. It's tough to see it all come down to an end like that. I feel the worst, obviously, for Jimmy Butler, because I thought that once again, he continues to put to bed what he is in this league, which is a superstar. And his performance was unbelievable. People will sit here and they'll question about the three at the end and was that the smartest thing to do? Dude, I just saw him drop 47 in Boston to keep the series alive. That would have, if it would have gone, it would have left him with 38 in a game 7. How can I question a guy like this? How can I question with how good he has been, with how onions he was? He won game 1 by himself. He willed game 6 by himself, and he nearly did it with game 7. How can I question a guy like that and his decision to go for the win? The win. Let's hear from Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler afterwards.
While I continue to ramble, I thought it would have been an incredible storyline, Jimmy to pull up and hit that 3, and I love that about Jimmy. That was the right look, and I just thought, as it was leaving his hand, I thought for sure that was going down. Good, clean look. It's definitely better than anything that we could have designed, and it's just a shame that it didn't end that way. But I can't compliment Boston enough. They've gone through the fire, and they earned that right to go to the finals.
My thought process was go for the win, which I did. Missed a shot, but I'm taking that shot. My teammates liked the shot that I took, so I'm living with it.
I don't disagree with it, man. I think that I get it. I get people who say, go there, go for the drive, maybe get a foul, all that type of Nah. I'm okay with it. I actually thought it looked good, like initially, and then I was just like, it's gonna be short. It was online. It was gonna be short. So it's tough. It's tough that it ends like that. And for Jimmy, this guy has shown himself in his years with the Heat. He is good enough to lead a championship team. I really, really believe that. I think that Eric Spoelstra saying that he's the ultimate winner who just hasn't won the ultimate prize is so well put, because He is a number one on a championship team. I think he has shown that. He is now a couple of years in a row had his point guards both 2 out of 3 years has had his point guards get riddled with injuries, and he really hasn't had that go-to guy to help facilitate, also be a scorer in the backcourt. It was basically just him and Bam doing everything yesterday. And Bam, I thought, had a great game 7. Really, really showed himself out well. Had that game 3 where he basically carried the team on the road and really set the tone. But they didn't have anything else. By the end of it, Kyle was so hurt. PJ Tucker couldn't play. They tried putting Tyler Hero out there, just to kind of see if it would give him anything. So by the end of this thing, you're kind of running Victor Oladipo out there for 30-plus minutes. The guy was just on a minutes limit. So they really did get run down in this thing. I'm not trying to do a who was more injured, Boston or Miami, but Miami was. And they were still right there at the end and still had that opportunity. They had some missed free throws yesterday that were frustrating. And then I don't know what the hell was going on with this missed 3 or this overturned 3 with Max Strus, because the game's going on. He come out of halftime. Max Strus hits the 3. Everyone's going crazy. And all of a sudden, Mike Biamonte just gets attention, everybody. Max Strus 3 at such and such point of game has been ruled no good, no basket. Max Strus was out of bounds. What? Now, I was boots on the ground. I was a little bit at a tough spot because I was on the other side of the court up, so I didn't have the best angle at it. So I didn't know that he was out of bounds. I don't think anybody did. Nobody really even thought about it. As far as I know, I wasn't like tweeting everything that was going on at the time. But then I see like the screenshots that come out of it. I'm like, what the hell is this? That's usually when this stuff happens, it is clear, conclusive evidence that this has to happen. And I did feel like it was a bit of a momentum swinger. For a series that has been a lot about momentum swings, huge momentum swings for each team. You have something like that happen, and Boston goes on this run, and you're not as close as you think you are then all of a sudden. Yeah, I think it does take a little bit out of you. And then you think about every point mattering, and you get to this end of the point where Jimmy Butler is at this point where he needs a 2 to tie, a 3 to win. It changes it if you have those 3 points. It's late when you're down 4 and you need a miracle and you're shooting up crazy threes. It's hard not to think about that stuff as a sports fan. You don't want to come down to one moment. You don't want to come down to one thing, and it's not just one thing, but it is tough to think about, like, well, what the hell is that? We never see that. Here's Eric Spoelstra on the explanation afterwards.
Have you seen the replay yet on the Max Strus overturned 3, and what was your reaction
I
when
didn't.
you found out so far after the fact?
I was in shock. I was asking, Quinny about that. The fact that it happened, 3 to 4, 5 minutes later in game time, that does change the context of how you're playing. We were starting to gain some momentum, and you feel like it's a 7-8 point game, and then all of a sudden it's a 13-point game. You're looking up, and there's no explanation for it other than it's gone back to to the league offices. You feel like if it happens like that, it should happen immediately, and then you can adjust accordingly. But look, that's not the reason we lost. We still had plenty of opportunities. We just couldn't get control of the game. A lot of that was Boston, but we didn't stop grinding, and we gave ourselves a shot at it. At the end, we just couldn't make enough plays during the course of the game. It felt like most of the game we were grinding from an 8 to 10 point deficit.
I'm trying to put in perspective, like, the worst feelings I've had as a Heat fan, as opposed with this loss, and this is the tops. I think for me, I think this is the worst I've ever felt, because for a couple of things. One, I truly thought that they were going to come back and win this series. I wasn't rats off a ship after the Game 5 loss. You guys know that, and to have a performance like Jimmy had in Game 6, it really did feel like they had swung things back in their favor. And I've just had a faith in this team's resilience all year long. Allen Houston, Knicks Heat rivalry, that's always going to be a gut punch, but it wasn't a trip to the finals. It wasn't a trip to the finals on the line. We're talking about a trip to go and play for the championship. And Allen Houston, wholly disappointing. Rivalry matchup, gut punch, all-timer. But so maybe it would have hurt worse if it was like Tatum hitting a 3 to beat you. But this was just as bad because I thought it was going in. So I put it right up there with it. The Mavericks, being there to witness the Mavericks celebrate on the court was awful. 2014 sucked, but we all knew the writing was on the wall with that Heat team that they weren't going to win that series. So I don't put it in the same class. I don't put getting swept in the same class. I don't really put, the 2020 finals in that same class because that all just kind of felt like, first of all, a huge accomplishment. They were a 5 seed, getting to the finals, and then Jimmy getting 2 games with Goron out, with Bam with 1 arm, with Tyler being 19 at the time. All of that stuff, it all just kind of felt like, man, what an accomplishment that they even got here. I did have championship expectations with this team. And Boston was really good. I mean, Boston, Jason Tatum hit some big-time buckets yesterday. So did Marcus Smart. So I do give them credit for that. They really kept it at a – I equate it to a boxing match. Like, Boston's jab was on point yesterday. Like, I don't think Boston ever hit Miami with a haymaker, but, like, they just controlled the pace. They controlled the range. Also had a ref that was definitely favoring them, much like a Mayweather fight. And they eventually the clock run out and the scorecards were red, and it was in their favor. Jason Tatum won the Larry Bird award, so I'm sure all those folks in the Ringer are thrilled about that. Should have gone to Jimmy Butler. Shout out to Tim Bontemps for voting for Jimmy Butler because he was actually the best player in the series, not Jason Tatum. You wonder about Jimmy's health, like everybody, dealing with the stuff on his knee that he was dealing with since game 2, since that gremlin Peyton Pritchard grabbed at his knee. And then Kyle's health, I mean, his hamstrings just look completely shot in this series. I talked about this in the last video. Just, his game 6 performance was all-time guts. This one just didn't feel like he had a lot in the tank. He had 3 missed free throws, which were tough. Had some clutch moments, but just like not himself, and really was supposed to this afterwards. Like, Tyler, if this is a regular season, no way he plays. PJ, who ended up being done after 17 minutes, regular season, no way he plays. Kyle, regular season, no way he plays. And if it was Jimmy Butler, quite frankly, maybe if certain circumstances of the regular season, no way he plays. So you're talking about a Heat team that has like a healthy Bam Adebayo, who showed up yesterday, Max Strus, and Victor Oladipo and Gabe Vincent. So they were really, really banged up, man. And that's always a tough thing in close series like this. You're like, man, if you could have just gotten a little bit more of health and production from here, you feel like your chances are in such a better place. But they're not. It's just over. All that stuff doesn't really matter anymore, does it? Here's Kyle Lowry afterwards on everything that he went through this year.
It's been a wild season for me individually, and my personal life has been, it was a little bit different for me this year. But I'm given the opportunity to play basketball, and anytime I get a chance to play, I'm really happy to do it. I will never make an excuse about injuries, never. I was out there. Jimmy was hurt. Tyler was hurt. Tuck was hurt. They had guys hurt. I wish I would have been able to play a little bit better at a higher level, but I didn't. And it just adds fuel. You don't know how many more opportunities you will have to get back to this. And so for me, personally, honestly, it was a waste of a year. and then I only play to win championships, and so it was fun. I appreciate the guys, my teammates, and I appreciate the opportunity. But for me, it was like it's a waste of a year. You're not playing for a championship. You're not, win a championship is a waste of a year.
Interesting thing. That was their big swing this year in the offseason was bringing in Kyle and replacing Goran Dragic, who was such a big part of this franchise for a long time. And, he had a great regular season as far as being a leader when guys were out. And I think a big reason why Gabe Vincent developed so much, and Tyler. So I thought he was a great leader to have around. But on the court production, I think was lacking a little bit. I don't think he ever got on quite the scoring streak that you'd want from him. You can't win it all on savvy. And then in the postseason, he was hurt for most of the time. And at certain points, you thought it looked better with Gabe Vincent out there. He's a big question mark going into next year. They gave him a lot of money, and he's very close with Jimmy Butler. They're kind of a package deal. That was their big swing. So I wonder, what is the plan with him? Do they get him on some kind of a nutrition regimen? Do they hope that equates to him being able to hold up a little better? Because he had said not an injury he had dealt with, but then you worry it's he's going to be 37 before next year's playoffs. What will that look like next year? There'll be plenty of time to talk about what's to come with the Heat. I'm going to do plenty of videos on that. Want to hear from Riley and the offseason and what's going to happen with Tyler Hero as far as his extension's concerned. What role is he going to want? And Duncan Robinson, what is his future going to look like with the team? And will this team go whaling? All that type of stuff. We got a lot of videos to get to that type of stuff, man. A lot of time. I do think there are some questions, and I do think that Pat Riley is going to ask himself, do I run it back? Because I basically did the last time I went to the finals and we crashed and burned. Maybe that had to do with the quick turnaround, or maybe he feels like we took some big swings this year. I'm going to take some big swings because I've got to get Jimmy Butler with 2-3 years left of his prime, whatever that is. I got to keep giving him more cracks at this championship. Maybe they roll the dice and they think it's a health thing, or maybe they think, hey, Brooklyn might get better. Milwaukee might be healthier. Boston's stars are just entering their prime. We can't stay status quo. I think all that stuff is going to have we'll have time to answer, evaluate, and equate going in. But mostly I just want this to be a video of appreciation for the year Jimmy Butler put forth, a video of appreciation for the year this team put forth. You come within a shot of playing for the championship. It's a good year. It is. And they were overlooked, disrespected, not acknowledged, almost not welcome by a lot of the NBA media to be at this stage. And look, I guess everybody gets what they want. Nationally, you get your Boston versus Golden State finals. I ain't watching. But the Miami Heat put forth a hell of an effort this year. I'm proud to root for this team. I'm proud of the year that this was. I'm proud of Jimmy Butler and everybody on this team and what they brought forth for it. But now I'm going to go soak my woes because I'm on 2 hours of sleep. I got no voice left. I just did a 4-hour radio show. If you guys want some clips and recaps, we dive into a lot of different topics on that too. Go to theticketmiami.com/ can't even talk. Go to youtube.com/ticketmiami if you guys want some clips from there. And we will talk to you guys next time. A lot to dive into with this Heat offseason, all right? So keep coming to the channel. We have offseason moves to discuss. More postseason reaction will be coming in. So plenty of stuff to get to. And then I guess I'm moving over to Dolphins minicamp, which I'm excited about the Dolphins. Don't get me wrong. It's not the finals. Have a great day, everybody.